Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but if you can, give me the thumbs up. And we've already had a flurry of activity from, let's see who it is. Teresa, the treasure hunter. Teresa is a lady that I was detecting with at Suffolk Sandlands a few weeks ago, and a brilliant detectorist she is too. So welcome to Teresa. And we've also got quite a few people on, which is good news. Mostly from, well, all from YouTube. Nobody watching on Facebook at the moment. Hi to Bloodicus as well. And David Haggerty from Scotland. Good to see you, Dave. Well, welcome to everybody. And we've got History Unearthed with Darren. And we've got a question coming through. I've got quite a lot to get through tonight, so I will start. How's the wind in Cumbria? Yeah, it's just this last hour has just pretty much it's ramped up about 65, 70 mile an hour, I think, maybe a bit more. It's pretty bad. But the storm that they predicted through the night didn't emerge, all the heavy rain and wind, so it wasn't as bad this morning waking up than I thought it was. Right, Wayne Eston King's on. Hello to Wayne. Yeah, it's picked up in the last hour. It has, Jackie. I've just noticed you said that. It's really ramping up now. Hello, South Down detecting Jeff Block. Good to see you all. Good to see you all again. Andrew Tiffin is even on. Everybody's missed new glasses. I brought. Yeah, I did actually. I did break my glasses. I often break my glasses. Darren, I am rather heavy-handed at times. And I suppose that comes with age, doesn't it? I suppose wearing glasses. Who would have thought I'd have ever worn glasses? Now I wear them all the time. I'm just going to have to adjust my light a little bit. That's better because I'm getting a bit of a glare going on. Right. So, good evening to you, Ernie, and Martin Davis, Simon Stevenson, Mike Richardson, Digger Anthony Hawks is on as well. We're getting lots of people. Listen, those that are watching on YouTube, can you give it the thumbs up if you can possibly do that? It just pushes it out there and the algorithm picks it up and more people join in, I think. Simon Stevenson, good to see you as well. South Down detecting, it's been horrible down here since 6 a.m. I think it's moving up country from south to north, so it's ramping up a little bit. There'll be lots of trees down in the morning, I guess. Free firewood for everybody. Yeah, we've ramped up considerably. Just bear with me a sec. That's better. Right, we're in. Oh, that's better. Right, okay, folks, let's go. I mean, I do apologise actually because I was supposed to do some detecting today, and I asked people to come along and share a day's detecting with me on some stubble fields, some sort of very short stubble, and it wasn't a Team Unearthed dig because the land's too small to get the Team Unearthed guys on there. So I asked a group of people if they wanted to come. I think we had about 20 people, I think. Maybe 20, but because of this storm, we had to cancel it. So that was a bit of a downer, really. So there's been no detecting this weekend, and there was no detecting last weekend either. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I can get out with one of the groups, or even myself if I take myself off on some of my own permissions next week. Fingers crossed. The next Team Unearthed dig is likely to be on ploughed fields where the crops are established. So the crops are actually coming through, which is highly unusual. Usually the farmers let us on when it's stubble. They usually let us on when the crops haven't been put in. But this time we're going to be able to get on with the crops established. So it'll be digging tools only, no spades. So, your little handheld digging tools, that's what we're going to be using because the land's that good, but we've got to make sure we protect the crops. So that's looking likely it'll be the next Team Unearthed dig. So I'm not sure when that is, but it's a highly unusual request. A farmer asking if we can go on when the crops are established. Better for us detectorists, I suppose, but we just got to be a bit careful that we don't do any damage. Jimbo's on. Good to see Jim, as always, and Andrew Allen. DeLacy Metal Detecting Club. I've never heard of that, actually. I don't know who that is. Is it a club in the UK, or is it America, or somewhere else even possibly? Be nice to know. Very nice of the landowner. It is Teresa. He's a very nice man. It's a part of a huge farm, and we've had some wonderful finds from it over the last 12 months. We've had some beautiful hammered coins, and also Roman bits, Viking bits, Bronze Age bits. Oh, West Yorkshire, right? Great stuff. Quite local to me then. Nice to see you. ASMR Asthma. Where we are? No, we're not. There we are. Scintillating sounds. Hello. I'm not sure if that's rain or not, but it could be. She'll let me know if it is. D. Macavedi, John O'Reilly's on, and let's have a look where we are. Drone Man's on even. Good to see Drone Man, along with D. Macavedi and John O'Reilly. Need to get myself out for my mental health. Absolutely. I mean, metal detecting is so good for your mental health. It's unbelievable. If you've got work worries, or you've got personal problems, if you've got anything going on, metal detecting just gets you out in the zone, and you can actually. I mean, I've been through some times in my life where I'm thinking I need to get out, and metal detecting's always helped. And not only that, you get a good night's sleep off the back of it as well, don't you? Because it can be that intense metal detecting. You're on the go all the time. You're walking sometimes up to 7 or 8 miles a day or more, depending who you are. Digging all those holes and all the excitement and fresh air, you get a good night's kip. But the thing is, mental health is an important part of it. Grant Parkinson, good to see you. I'm not sure why you've got Frankenstein. Somebody called you Frankenstein in the past. Yes, it's me, Rain. I thought it was. Good to see you, Rain. And Mr. Johnson himself is on, which is good. Bob the Builder's on. We've got lots of people on anyway. We're jumping up towards 50 people, which is good. I lost my mojo for a while, Drone Man. I purchased a Minelab X Terra Elite, so I can't get enough of it. No, they are good machines. In fact, it's looking highly likely that I'll be putting up my 900 for somebody to take off me, because I just fancy the X Terra Elite. After using it a few times, I think it's just a good machine. We've got chatting in the comments previously about. We were chatting in the comments in a previous video. Yes, we were. Yes, and we've got news of that actually. I'll bring that up. Just bear with me a sec. Evening course road is fresh. I bet it is, Rick. I bet the course road's coming right over the top of that road with them waves. Good to detect actually along after this storm subsides. I think it'll be a decent session along that course road if you can get rid of the aluminium waste. Exercise is important, fresh air, blah blah. Where we are, I'm just trying out. You've had a good day actually, Andrew Allen. You found a really nice coin today, and those crowns, them Georgian crowns. I just wish I could show it on the screen. I can't show it, but that was a cracking coin. Beautiful, them big silver Georgian crowns. So you've done really well finding that. They're not common at all. Yeah, just while we're on, folks, I've just made some notes down here. We have got. It's looking highly likely now that the BBC One production of Lost in the Lakes will be January, towards the end of January, which isn't too. We finished filming about this time last year, and it's took because it was such a huge effort. 15 episodes is a lot of TV. So it's probably took a lot of editing, and they've got to fit it in with the schedule of the television people. So yes, January 25 it's going to be. So what, 3 months, 2.5 months, something like that. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be the fingers crossed. You can never fully gauge how these things go, but I think it'll be one of the best, if not the best, metal detecting, adventure, diving, a little bit of magnet fishing TV that we've had on our screens for a long time. Yeah, it was a lovely crown. It was a really good crown. It was fantastic. Right, folks, let's make an intro into what's going on in the world of metal detecting. Now, a lot of you people will have noticed by now that Unearthed, especially on social media, we're doing a lot of promoting ourselves now with different brands and different accessories, I guess is the right word. And there's no shame in that, because we've got to keep a roof over our head, and we've got to make sure we sell as much product to the detecting world as we possibly can to keep a roof over our heads. So you will see a lot of posts now leading up to Christmas of metal detectors, of course, and accessories. But also, finally, I mean, the last time I spoke to you guys, we spoke about these new Fieldmaster vests, the harnesses, which is a vest which incorporates a harness, which incorporates a weatherproof shell, which incorporates a pinpoint probe holder and a digging tool holder and a drinks holder and multiple pockets back and front. Now, these have been extremely popular, but they've been out of stock since February. Can you imagine waiting that long? And we've had we had calls all through the year asking if we could get them, and finally they arrived last week, and now they're going like hotcakes, as you can imagine. We did put a competition up for people to win one. However, unfortunately, like everything in life, the disappointment kicked in, because we put a competition up for somebody to win one, and within, I think it was in a couple of hours of us doing it, somebody cloned our account, our Facebook page, literally cloned it, and started sending people messages with the same name as us, saying to people that they'd won the item and to get in touch. Obviously a scam. Why these people do it, I don't know. I mean, I've got no clue why these people have to do these things. I mean, can you imagine being brought up into a world where you just wanted to scam people all your life? I mean, it's just crazy. You know, I've never thought about scamming anybody in my life, and I never will. But these people seem to get off on it. Who they are, we don't know. I've complained bitterly to Facebook about it, but Facebook are very slow at taking action on scammers and spammers. But if you put a potentially inflammatory post on your own Facebook group, political or whatever, they soon wham you with a ban. And they need to change that. They need to, Facebook really do need to dedicate some effort into bringing these scammers and people that clone. So it's getting worse. It is. Dean McAveddy's just said on the post, it's getting worse. It's got to a position where now you're frightened about doing anything in case you get scammed and cloned. Now, we've already been cloned once before. In fact, we've actually been cloned twice. We got cloned on TikTok. Somebody put up an identical name, shared all my posts. Here's the ironic thing. They did everything like from like. So they copied my TikTok account with my name, and they put every single post that I put on theirs, and they were getting more views than I was. So I was like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? You just think to yourself, wow. They were literally getting more views than we were. I had to laugh. So we're going to have to get the word out there that we may have to start the competition again, because people are getting message after message now saying to me, oh, I've won. Great news. I didn't think you were joining. We had about 10 messages off people saying that they'd won. Of course, they haven't won yet because we haven't drawn it. But it's this scam, this cloned account telling people that they'd won and to get in touch. So I just hope and pray nobody falls foul of it. eBay is terrible for scammers. Yeah, I know, they're just all over the place, aren't they? It's just crazy, and the whole world's gone crazy. And I don't know how to deal with it. I mean, we can do. Obviously, the powers, they haven't got the money, I don't think, this country anymore to deal with these scams. I'm just going to adjust this screen a little bit. There you go. That's better. Oh, hang on a minute. That's better. See if I can get this done. Right. That's better, folks. We can see better now. So that's the situation with these competition, and it's always difficult to put a competition up for people to win, because we don't like giving people too much work to do. That's a good one, actually. I'll have to put this up on the screen because it's funny. Someone needs to go full beekeeper, Jason Statham, on him, because that film was about scammers and spammers and things. Quite good, David. Yes, you're right. We need some action. And we don't like giving people too much work to enter these competitions, because if you say, right, answer this question and send it by email to this address, our address, of course, people think, I can't be bothered with that. People like easy life this day and age, don't they? So we thought, well, if they watch the video of whatever it was that we put up, I think it was the Buckley Priory Suffolk Sandlands film, and just say you've done. Just say done, and we'll draw your names out of a hat, and away you go. So that was the plan. Anyway, we'll be back on track on Monday when I'm back in the office. I'm sure I'll get it all sorted. But it's just a distraction that you don't need, isn't it? Anyway, so going back to the vests, these harnesses, they are the #1 detecting product. There's no two ways about it. There's no longer you required to have a fines pouch around your waist that drops down every time you put half a pound of lead in it. These vests carry everything, and they take the weight off your detector. Like I said, they're weatherproof now. We've made some changes to the original ones. You've even got a high vis link at the back if you want to be seen. Say you're on a rally, or you want to be, your mate wants to see where you are. You can you can clip the high vis stuff on the back. You've got multiple pockets in the back for outdoor clothing if you want to carry clothing around with you. But my game changer for me, because I'm wearing one now, is the fact that I don't have to have my probe in my fines pouch linked to my lanyard necessarily, and the digging tool on the other side. It can all be, it's all built into it. So I'm really pleased with them. I think the Fieldmaster range is going to be a game changer. And of course, for us, it's not just about selling metal detectors anymore. It's about selling a whole range of products that people want to buy. So there's going to be more Fieldmaster range accessories coming, hopefully, fingers crossed, before Christmas kicks in. So it all sounds good. Happy days. Dale is here. And Dale, actually, I'll tell you a little story about Dale. Dale is from Suffolk, where Suffolk Sandlands is, of course, nearby. And he's been using my old trusty G2 Plus metal detector, and he's been finding some unbelievable finds. So, Dale, if you want to put your name up, of your channel, I'm more than welcome to promote it for you, because I think a lot of people are missing the trick watching Dale's YouTube videos. YouTube's a funny place at the moment. I don't know if there's anybody else here that's doing YouTube, but the views on a lot of channels are way down, and there's a lot of people putting really good content out there, and they're spending a lot of time editing their videos and putting a lot of effort and time in it, and they're getting like 100 views. You know, they've got maybe 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers, and I'm just, there's something going on with YouTube at the moment. I'm not sure what. But Dale's a classic example. He puts a lot of time and effort in. I know he's been out today and he's found some nice coins, nice hammered coins with my detector, my lucky detector. There you go, folks. The luckiest detector I've ever used. Found all my really important finds with that detector just about. And I sent it down into Suffolk, and Dale is doing the business with it, which I always suspected he would. So Dale, put your link up if you can, mate, and I'll put it on. Hello, Panther. How are you? Stopped by on my work break. Hope all is okay in the States, mate. I hope you're okay out there in the United States. I've been watching a couple of your videos where you've been detecting around where they've had events and concerts and things. It's quite interesting what you find out there. Busy today. I don't do Facebook too many scammers. There's a lot of scammers about, isn't there? It's all algorithms that determine your views. Yeah, I know only too well, Ryan. I've been doing YouTube now for long time, and you've got to make sure you do everything right, and it changes as well. That's the thing with YouTube, it changes. And we do a lot of work with people, not a lot of work with people, but we give a lot of advice and guidance out to people that are coming forward with YouTube channels, and I think it's a great opportunity for people to showcase what they do in the field. And I'd never hold anybody back from being a content creator. If you want to go down the route of doing YouTube stuff, get in touch with me. I'll help you. I'll help you all I can, he says with a frog in his throat. But Dale's is good, yes. Yeah. Is there a way to make a list of your favourite ones? Is that my favourite channels? History on Earth, do you think? Is that what you mean? The British Museum are the biggest scammers out there. Do you know what? We've all got stories of the British Museum and the Treasure Act maybe not doing what they should be doing. Sorry, I went blank there for a bit. It all went a bit crazy. I think it's something to do with this wet weather and the wind. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. Now, the other thing as well is I've got to mention this, because we've got to a point where things might change a little bit with what we do on YouTube. Oh, sorry, favorite channels on YouTube. I'm subscribed to that many. I miss some uploads. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one lining them all up to say which are your favorites. Half the problem with YouTube is it's saturated now in such a way they really need to be breaking up into categories properly, not just trying to do it properly, where people know exactly where to go for one section of content without it being smothered by I mean, I see a lot of young dancers now, semi-naked dancers, both male and female, of course, on shorts, try to get as many views as they can. Music, singing to music, quirky jokes, and I understand why people want to do all that. They want to be noticed, of course, but I think it swamps the real important, serious stuff on YouTube, where people say, hey, listen, I'm doing really serious work here. Come and watch me. You'll enjoy it, because there's none of that silliness in it. But the platform seems to be swamped now, I think, with a lot of silliness. Now, it might just be because I've got to an age where, you know what I mean, I don't really sort of want to watch that rubbish anymore. I want to watch serious stuff. And I think there's, for middle-aged creators like me, because, you know, I'm middle-aged now, whether I like it or not, I don't think we're taken seriously enough as content creators. I think people go, oh, it's YouTube again. It's not for me. But when you think about it, it's a library of history, because you're creating content that's going to be potentially on YouTube for a hell of a long time. It'll be on YouTube long after I've gone. I'm sure YouTube will be around, you know, for a long time. And it's almost like, well, I'll tell you what it's like. I'll tell you what it's like, folks. Bear with me. Yesterday, I watched a TikTok film, a short. It was about, I don't know how long the longest TikTok is anymore. Is it a couple of minutes? 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes? And it's the only time I've ever watched something on social media that filled my eyes up with tears. And it was extremely emotional, right? And that film also touched the hearts of the people that watched it alongside me. And I know this because I read the comments. Everybody said the same thing. And I think that's what YouTube's like. YouTube's a memory. So when I'm old and decrepit, and I'm probably too old to get out detecting and have, you know, adventures out in the fields or wherever I am, fishing, you know, detecting or whatever, you know, it's a bit of nostalgia where you can look back and think, well, you know what, you know, we took a group onto them fields and we smashed the Iron Age period and the Bronze Age period and the hammered coins and the Roman coins and things. People don't realize what they're doing at the time, but when we look back and record those moments, it's going to be there forever, potentially, isn't it? So the one thing that made me my eye, and it takes a lot. Well, I'm getting a bit more emotional as I get older, but I was pretty much dead to the world at one time, you know. The film I watched that made me fill up with tears and emotion was filmed in the early 70s, the early 1970s. So it's got that grainy, almost black and white look about it. And it was a gentleman that took a 100-year-old man. So this gentleman was 100-year-old. He took him out to fish for trout and salmon for the last time in his life. And he had his old rod that he'd had since, and his rod was built in the between 1915 and 1920, right? That's how amazing it was. And this guy was obviously born in the 1800s. This gentleman, very old and tired he was, but he wouldn't let anybody tie his fishing flies for him. He had to do it all himself, and they filmed him doing it. And it was absolutely unbelievable watching him do it. You know, he threaded his line through his fishing rod. He tied his own fly on. He was casting his fly rod, but he got very tired and he had to sit down and have a sleep. And what they did, a couple of the guys were fishing next to him, and one of them got a fish on. So they gently woke him up and brought him out of his chair, and he stood up and gathered his thoughts a little bit and his surroundings, and they put the fishing rod into his hand, and he actually reeled that fish in, and that was the last time he ever caught a fish. And you could see the determination, because apparently when he was younger, he'd been fishing for 80 odd years. I think it was 88 years. 88 years, amazing. and he got the same thrill of catching that fish. It was only well, I say only, I shouldn't say only, but it was a 2.5 pound, 3 pound trout he caught, rainbow trout. But his face when he was reeling it in was like probably the same face expression that he had when he was a young man. And I found it hugely emotional watching it. Hugely emotional watching it. And it was someone called Jack Hargreaves that was doing the film. I don't know if anybody ever remembers Jack Hargreaves. He used to do a series on the TV about field sports, fishing, and all that kind of stuff. And I just found it quite amazing. I did really. If anybody is out there and wants to see it, just go onto YouTube and type in Jack Hargreaves. It'll actually show you the video. Quite amazing, really. And YouTube's a little bit like that to a degree. You know, we've got Out of Town. That was it. That was it. Special Brews nailed it. It was Out of Town. That's the one. Do you know what? I don't know if it was under the title of Out of Town, but that was the series that he did, or the series linked. And someone had shared it and put it on YouTube. So it was amazing to watch it, folks. It really was. And it was old-fashioned TV, as it should be, really. You know what I mean? It was like nothing like what we get nowadays. Completely different now. But I did have a tear in my eye watching him. I thought, you know, that was the last ever time that poor old gentleman caught fish. And for him to sit down and go to sleep, well, you know, because it must have been tiring for him, even walking to the riverbank. But at 100-year-old, takes some doing. So, yeah, quite amazing. Quite amazing. Louise Ratcliffe, how are you, Louise? I bet you were missing detecting today, weren't you? But we'll be back on. I'm sure we'll be back on the field soon. But we have got to a point where I will have to probably reevaluate how Team Unearthed runs itself and the way it works in the future, because you know we have absolutely smashed it this year. And you know, most people, in fact, I think most of the people that have been on the digs will agree that we've done some terrific work out in the fields, finding Bronze Age, Roman and hammered coins, even Iron Age stuff. And we've really punched above our weights, I think. You know, one of the country. I mean, I don't watch Country File Drone Man. I don't watch it, mate. I don't watch it anymore. I used to watch it, but I find it pretty repetitive. So, yeah, whether we can, you know, I don't know if I can continue with Team Unearthed the way it's going now, full on every other week, because eventually the farms will run dry, and there's only so many farms I can get round. I think we've got 35 farms to our name now, and we've got a small number left to detect. So I'm going to have to take some time off and away from it to see if we can get some more land under our belts and, you know, see what we can do. I mean, you know, a lot of people love, you know, Team Unearthed is the best group of detectorists I've ever had the pleasure to put together and take out into the fields and hit the ground running. It's always been fantastic for me to have a group of really good detectorists alongside me. But I do get the impression one or two people are getting a little bit not entitled, not entitled. Is the word entitled? No, one or two started mourning a couple of weeks ago, and it pissed me off a little bit because they don't realise the hard work that I have to put in to do these digs, and it is quite stressful. And I don't know if they're getting one or two are getting a bit spoiled, but you know, when they look back and think what they found on the digs, most of their collections that they've found, coins and artifacts, have probably been made off the Team Unearthed digs. But you're always going to get that in life. You're not going to keep everybody 100% happy. But we will be back. We haven't had a dig for a few weeks now, so we're going to see if we can get it up and running in the next week or two, which will be nice. Future Bleeps, I'm hoping you are okay, sir. I've not seen you for a while. Lad I detect with his dad is an agronomist. Agronomist. What's one of them? He has got his son 39 farms with over 75,000 acres. Wow, it's a lot of land, isn't it? Yeah, no, Dave, I understand, mate. It's hard. Being self-employed is difficult, and it's also hard to get the time as well to do it. You know, it can be quite difficult. And Waz is back from holiday now. This guy here, folks, just to let you know, Wayne Heston King, he goes abroad more times than he's actually in the UK. We're just freezing like we do possibly. We're losing the stream. Oh, we're back. Thank God for that. Yeah, Wazza, which is Wayne Heston King. He is the international man of mystery. Because sorry about that. I don't know why we keep. I don't know if it's this weather that's playing up, but the streaming keeps on. I don't know if anybody's noticed it. Wazza's in this. No, he's abroad more than he's in this country. And his nemesis Andrew Tiffin has just said that ring you got off the lucky man on your holidays. I can imagine Wazza talking to him actually. Right, folks. So that's why we've not put any videos out. But I'm going to mention now something which really surprised me and pleasantly surprised me more than anything is I don't know if any of you have watched the latest film that we put out on Unearth Detecting TV regarding the Suffolk Sandlands detecting tours. Now, I've been part of this from the start. I helped them put it together, and I was there on the first trip when they decided, the people that run it and own it decided to set it up. And I was asked politely if I could come down and offer some support, which I did. And I went back, obviously went last year, and I've gone down this year again. And there was a group of rather nice, and I would class these people as professional detectives from the United States. And there was the English guys, me and John and Andy, detecting alongside them. And I have to say, coming back and driving home, because it's a long drive from Suffolk up into the the borders of the Lake District into Cumbria. You're talking a 7 hour drive, and the detecting was unbelievable. But not only that, what surprised me, I mean, I know the histories now. I've detected in East Anglia for probably 35 years on and off. So I know what Suffolk and Norfolk brings to the table. And history-wise, there's some amazing things down there. That's why they call it Suffolk, South Fork, Norfolk, North Fork. They probably didn't even know we existed as barbarians in the north back in those days. But the finds are absolutely incredible. But what really struck out for me is, and you never really know what you're going to be faced with out in the fields, detecting wise. But the Americans that we were detecting with, and of course, Teresa's one of them that's on this link now. Teresa's been there 3 times. What struck me about it is the dedication and the level of professionalism, I think is probably the right word, that the Americans showed. Now, I used to think naively that, the Americans don't really find a great deal out in the States. Well, they do find a lot of stuff, but it's obviously not as old as what we find over here. And I probably didn't realize how they would take to detecting over here in England or in the UK. But I was absolutely blown away by the amount of professionalism and the determination that the American group showed. I mean, those guys, those ladies and men did not give up. They never give up. I mean, some of them were getting out onto the fields before light. They had the head torches on. They were doing the field surrounding the house where we were staying, and they were doing it before breakfast. They were coming back with cut half hammered coins and jettons and things before breakfast, which was amazing. And then they were going out in the fields right through. Some of them didn't even have a break for dinner, or if they did have a break for lunch, I should say, not dinner. They were reluctant to do it, and they really did smash it. I mean, I was blown away by their level of determination and stamina. It was amazing. They were just machines. And not a single one of them came up to me and said, "How much is that worth?" Not one. They were all interested in the history. And all the finds stay here in the UK. They have to get recorded properly and categorized and everything else. It's all, it's all done correctly. And they were just amazing people. They really were amazing people. I was blown away how good they were. They were just really nice people to detect alongside, and they never give up. However, when I got talking to one of them, one or two of them actually, they were telling me that they had come into the UK before, and they'd gone on to other detecting holidays, I guess, if that's what we're going to call them. And I was quite shocked how they were treated One guy said they were picked up at sort of 7 o'clock in the morning, dropped off in the fields, and that was it. They were just left there till 6, 7 o'clock at night. They were throwing a mattress down on the floor of an old building and said, you can sleep on that tonight if you want. And a sleeping bag on top of the mattress, no food, nothing. And I was like, wow, that can't be right. That can't be right. It really, really can't be right. So, but you know, in life you hear all sorts, don't you? You know, I was quite shocked at hearing that sort of treatment, I guess is the right word. But yeah, going back to it, we found a field there, and Teresa will back me up a little bit here because she was obviously there as well. But we found a field which the soil was beautiful. I mean, the soil was you could probably, is the right word, grow anything in it. It was just beautiful soil, is the only way I can describe it. And me and John did a rough estimate of how many Roman brooches came off, and it was incredible. I mean, absolutely, yeah, butter soil. Future beliefs, literally like butter soil. It was that the soil was that good. You could pick it up in your hands and let it fall through your hands, and it wouldn't stain your fingers at all. It was just that wonderful, fertile soil that you knew that the ancient people would have probably took advantage of as well. Amazing, absolutely amazing. But we counted from that trip where I was and the one earlier, probably about 16 Roman brooches, Romano-British brooches as well included, because there was an Iron Age type brooch found. So brooch-wise, Romano-British and Roman, around about 16. Coin-wise, very few. I mean, literally the odd. I mean, when I say odd, I mean really odd bronze coin. So, of course, if you're detecting where for a long time and you're used to detecting on Roman sites, you know that most of them are littered with bronze Roman coins with the odd denarius thrown in. Brooches, pretty much a bonus if you're going to hit a brooch in amongst all the bronze grots that you find. I mean, I've been on sites where I'm coming off with 60 or 70 bronze Roman coins a day, and maybe only finding one brooch and maybe one denarius and a couple of, maybe if you're lucky, a couple of artifacts. But to find 16 on one field over 2 trips, roughly, tells me there's something been going on other than an actual settlement site. So it gets your imagination flowing. Was it a votive site? Was there burials nearby? Was there something going on in that field that we need to know more about? Just amazing, absolutely amazing. And to see people's faces when they've found their first ever Roman brooch was just amazing. I mean, I found loads of Roman brooches over the years, and I love finding them. And that face that I saw with some of the American people would have been exactly the same face as I had on me when I found my first Roman brooch. And I think it's just an amazing experience. I don't think it was a trading post draw man. If it was a trading post, it would have been full of coinage, because obviously trade coins. Very, very few. In fact, I think I've seen one or two. I think there was one denarius that came up, and maybe, just maybe one or two Roman bronzes. It was just amazing. I got one brooch and I was really pleased with it. And right next to that brooch, there was another one, and it just continued. It was just quite amazing. You will get one. Are you digging it? You'll definitely get a Roman brooch at some point. Absolutely. You've just got to. The places where I've seen most of my Roman brooches come from are these 4 counties, I should say: Lincolnshire, Yorkshire, Wiltshire, and Norfolk. Norfolk, Lincolnshire, Wiltshire, Norfolk. Let's get this right. Norfolk, Lincolnshire, Wiltshire, Yorkshire. Yeah, 4. Oh, and Cumbria, of course. Melanie's just said yes. No, not too many though. I bet I've only had about a dozen in Cumbria, over the years. Maybe not even. Yeah, maybe a dozen. I've had a dozen in a month in other places. Got to go, David. Good to see you. Oh, John Branner's on. Look at that. He's a legend himself. Look, who's keeping me posted on his treasure find that he made on the Team on Earth dig last year. So and that's in South York. I've got a site. Let me say, I'm catching up with the stream, guys. I've got a site that I detected very little in the way of Roman coinage, but in 2 years, yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Really weird. But you've had 12 brooches off a Roman site, yet very little coins. Very, very odd. Very odd. Anyway, you know, we're never going to get to the bottom of what's going on with whether the burial site is it a trading, not a trading site. It won't be a trading site. I know that. I've been on Roman trading sites where they've traded salt as a commodity, and it's just. I mean, it's just you probably don't even have to. Sometimes you don't even have to use a detector. You find them lying on the top of the ploughed field. Still got to find my evening. Don't forget Somerset, where I found my first fibula, and the second was in Hampshire. Yeah, I'm not detected in Somerset, Paul, or Hampshire either. I've detected in a lot of counties, but not there. Oh, look at this! Is my son has come on, Jack Rushton. It's my son, my eldest son, and he's my little granddaughter. His daughter's put, "Hi, Granddad, it's Ivy. I'm watching you before bed." How cute! And she was on her mum's mobile phone doing, what was it called, Mel? Snapchat? Doing Snapchats to Mel yesterday, I think, which I found very funny. The kids are awesome. Social media, just keeping in touch with your kids via social media. I message my boys every day, and I think it's great. A bathhouse. Good to see you, Ivy. I hope you're okay, by the way, darling. Bathhouse. Could be a bathhouse. You just don't know. Just something going on them fields, Teresa. Most of my Roman brooches come from a deserted medieval village, obviously before them. Yeah, it's weird, Stan's lad, isn't it? It's odd. And Steve Knight's here as well. He's found his first Roman fibula in Northumberland. I mean, they are all over the place, but yeah, north and south, you can find them just about anywhere. But you will find them, folks. If you keep sticking in, you'll find them. You'll definitely find them. Right, I've got a list of notes to go through, and I get sidetracked that often. People are saying hi to Ivy, which is great news. Teresa's saying hi to Ivy as well, and I think Rain is also saying hi to Ivy. Let's have a look where we are. I found very little Roman stuff. Chester, yeah, it's weird. Chester's a weird place. So Chester was a big Roman town with Roman walls. A lot of medieval history in Chester as well, and earlier in that as well. But I talked to a lot of the detectorists in and around Chester, and they find very little. Now I don't know whether it's because it's been built on. That's probably the reason why, or the fields surrounding it have either been wet and stuff sunk away. That television just come on.
Oh, it's pretty mild.
Wow. I ain't going down the route. I ain't going down the route of that ghosty thing like the last time. Just letting you know. Wow. The television just turned itself on, folks. So Chester is a very strange place. I don't know if the land surrounding it's boggy and marshy and it's sunk away, whether it's been reclaimed, whether it's been developed on, or what. But people find very little. I certainly find very little Roman stuff, which I find very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. Yeah, ghosts are back. Well, look at last time when we talked about the ghosts. You know, it was all crazy, wasn't it? But there you go. Oh, so just to let you know, because people, if I don't tell people, they start saying, "Why didn't I mention it?" The last time we were on the live stream, if you remember, we were obviously talking about when the harnesses coming back in, and then harnesses give me sleepless nights beyond sleepless nights because we were just waiting that long for them. They're in now, of course. But the coin and artifact cleaning equipment is now back in. The silver clean or the clean bill, and the monitor liquid and the conservation wax is now in stock, folks. So all those people that have been messaging me over the last 2 weeks saying when is it going to come back in, it's in. We got a big order come through last week. Do you know what? I've just seen something. Yeah, so it's on the website, folks. If you want to buy it, you can buy a bundle deal now. It saves you a few quid. You can buy all three. Rather than buying them individually, which will cost you a little bit more money, you can buy all three. So they're on the Unearth website, folks. You know what the Unearth website is. Just type in Unearth Metal Detectors. It'll come up. I have to tell you this story, folks. I have to tell you this. Right. Teresa's just reminded me. So when we were on the Suffolk Sandlands tour week before last, John, who is the tour guide, and I have to say, I've known John French for a long time, and he is one of the kindest, nicest men you'll ever meet. Mel, can you get me a bottle of water, if you don't mind? And he's a genuinely nice man, John French. Those people that have ever met John French will agree he's the nicest man. And he had to go back. Me and John were staying in a cottage some distance away from the main house, because obviously there was the bedrooms were full. The place was packed, and he had to go back for some towels for some of the guests in the house, because we didn't know where the towels were. So John walked, which is it's about a 5-minute walk. That's all up a dark track. Thanks, Mel. And when he came back, it took him about 15 minutes, and he come back to the house, and his face was quite like white. He said, "You're not going to believe this." And in the woods, it's very, very dark. There's no street lights. There's no light pollution down there. It's black. And it's an ancient place, of course. It's an ancient place. You know, we actually stayed right next to the ancient gatehouse, which is like, I don't know, 900-year-old. John came back, and his face was quite, and he said, "You know, I'm not going to believe what I've just seen in the woods." So when you walk up the track, the woods are on your left-hand side, and there's 2 medieval fish ponds from the priory. And he said a green light had come up out of these fish ponds, like a little green dot. And when it rose up, it grew to a balloon size. All right, so it come up as a green dot, and then this is the way he could describe it. It blew up into a balloon-sized green object and then disappeared. So, of course, John's thinking, what the hell was that? Quite shocked. So we had to walk back that way that night, because obviously that's where we were sleeping of an evening. So me and John walked back up the track, and I kid you not, when he said it was over there, he showed me whereabouts it was. And I looked up, and by the way, which makes it even more spooky, it's right next to Rendlesham Forest. In fact, Rendlesham Forest is like, not a stone's throw away, but a couple of minutes walk, which maybe adds to the flavour of it all. You disappearing, and I seen a white light in the woods, which was a bit weird, and it sort of flashed, and we walked back, and it was gone. And then thinking there was now whether there was somebody in the woods messing about, I don't know, but it was very, very strange. And we did see a couple of weird lights going on after, because obviously you start looking after that, don't you? So night after night, we were looking in the woods out of the windows, and we did see somebody messing about in one of the woods at one point with a torch. I'm sure it was a torch he had, but the green light mystery was a real strange one, because he said it literally rose up out of the pond and then fattened out into a balloon shape and disappeared. Anyway, there you go. What she got? What is it, Mel? Strange. The dog's running around with something in its mouth, like paper or something. It's just another example. Where did she get that from? No idea. Wow. Anyway, so there you go. There you go. It's all strange. Oh, I'll have to tell them about that as well. You get out anything that the more effort you put in, and Graham, your efforts are commendable. Learning so much from your channel as a newbie. Thanks, Peter. Very kind of you. Very, very kind of you, Peter. Clean bill has worked wonders on my heavily encrusted Edward the First penny. Yeah, it's good stuff, that clean bill. It doesn't take the patina off the coin. It just removes the horrible crust and staining off silver coins, which is what you want, isn't it? Steve, you're right. And another thing that happened, which was weird, the same night as the green light, and I'm sure you'll enjoy this story just as much. That same night, we gets back into the accommodation, the cottage where me and John were staying. I goes into my room. Now, my room had an ensuite bathroom, and it had 2 doors. So it had an internal door from my bedroom into the bathroom, and an outside door on the landing that went into the same bathroom. So I'm obviously getting changed, having a wash and shower before bed sort of thing. It must have been about midnight, I think. And I come out of the bathroom, and the door behind me locked. I'm like, couldn't get it open. Strange. It's shut and it's locked. So I went out into the landing, and the the other door into the bathroom was locked. So both doors had locked themselves. Now that was, I thought, I can't understand it. So I'm yanking on these bloody doors. I couldn't get it open. So I tapped on John's door. I said, John, sorry to wake you up. Are you asleep? Oh, no, I'm just got into bed sort of thing. I said, you're not going to believe this, but my bathroom doors have locked. Have you got any tools in your van to maybe take the locks off? So poor John had to come downstairs in his boxer shorts. It was raining by this time, and his van's outside in the parking place outside the cottage. He puts his wellies on. So all he had on was his boxer shorts and his wellies. Goes out. I mean, if I had a phone on me to take a picture, it'd been hilarious. The poor guy's out there getting these tools out of his van in his wellies and boxer shorts. That was more frightening than the green light. But even he said it's strange how both doors have locked, almost like they've locked from inside. So as you can imagine, that night I'm in bed, I'm thinking I'm going to have to keep all the doors open. I ain't getting myself locked in these rooms. And I think looking at it logically, it wasn't anything spooky going on. I think it was just these old locks on these doors that decided to both shut and lock at the same time, which is very weird. So there you go. Yeah, crazy. But that image of John and his boxer shorts and wellies on will always be, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, as they say. There you go. So yeah, that mental image Teresa's just said, crazy, absolutely crazy. So there you go. Now, I've noticed this weekend there's been a lot of people out detecting, and there's been a lot of people finding some nice things, which is great. The Facebook groups, mainly Facebook and Instagram, I think, there's a lot of coins and artifacts being shown this week, and a lot of flints as well, which is good. We found a lot of nice flints last week, and those that seen the video would have noticed the flints on there, the scrapers and the arrowheads, and other bits and pieces that were coming up. Little flint knives were coming up as well, which are really interesting pieces. But isn't it great to see? Because at times you see a lot of really good content on places like Facebook and Instagram of coins and artifacts. I'm just going to adjust this light, folks. Just bear with me. That's better. But you don't often see them. For the last few months, I've not seen too many, and I don't know if people are not getting out detecting as much because of maybe the summertime and everything else. But now we're seeing this real move towards some really fantastic finds and discoveries. And of course, that crown that was found today on the those that haven't seen it yet, if you have a look on the Unearthed Detecting group, not the page, the group, you'll see that coin. It's an absolutely amazing coin. It'll clean up. Well, I don't know whether he's going to clean it up or not, but you'll see it. So there you go. There's been a lot of good finds come up over this last few weeks on social media. Long may it continue. I've got something in my hair, whatever it is. If I could feel it. Maybe don't know what, God knows. Andrew Allen found it, by the way, this gentleman. There. So if you look for Andrew Allen's name on the Facebook group, not the page, the group, you'll see that coin. What a coin it is. What a coin. Luma Art. Does weatherproof? No, it doesn't, sir. No. Weatherproof is weatherproof. Waterproof is completely different to weatherproof. So if you get a weatherproof machine, metal detector, for example, right, then you can use it out in the rain, but you can't submerge it. So if you submerge something, it's usually waterproof. If you go out in the rain with something, it's weatherproof. It's the first thing I found for ages. I think, have you not been posting some nice finds up lately? I'm sure you've been posting some good stuff up lately, Andrew. Did you not find you found a lot of jettons lately, over the last 12 months. So we've got Darren now. I got new permission last week. The owners live in a medieval house on the land. I found lots of lead and a few medieval buckles. It's going to be good permission. Absolutely. There'll be hammered coins there, Darren. Absolutely. Somewhere. And they'll come up when you least expect it as well. Where you think the hammered coins will lurk, normally they don't. And they come up in places where, where you would not least expect, but maybe not look first. Yeah, the hard rain and showers are washing the surface. Non-metallic finds, lovely. Absolutely. Fossils, flints, pottery. Yeah, absolutely. You can't beat a good whack of rain down on these arable fields. It's great. I mean, what a bonus it is to go out and find an eyes only find when you're metal detecting. It's just amazing, isn't it? Some of you would have noticed as well quite an interesting little story. 9 years ago to this day, this very day 9 years ago, I wandered onto a field just by chance, actually, and it was the only reason I detected the field, because at the time it was the only one field that was available for me to detect on the particular farm. The rest of them were sown, seeded, winter barley, and I couldn't get on them, obviously, because it was flat seeded land. And I wandered on this particular field, and I straight away started finding objects, broken medieval bits. And I got a Nero denarius, which was one of the best Nero denarius I found to date. In fact, it is the best Nero denarius I found to date, because I've only ever found 4. And I found another denarius, Septimus Severus, I think it was, and a couple of nice hammered coins, including a nice short cross. And there was quite a few other bits and pieces that come up: bronze Roman coins, lead ampullae, cut halves, and that's cut quarters, that sort of thing. And I've never been able to get back on that field, even though I only did it for that afternoon, in that little short period, that little window, found all those wonderful finds. I've never been able to get back on that field. And it came up on my memories today on Facebook, thinking, 9 years ago today I found those. So I've made a mental note. The next time I'm down near that farm is to see if I can get on it, on that field, or even the fields next door to it, because I'm sure there was an ancient trackway, maybe a Roman road actually, that ran through that. And of course, where there's a Roman road, the medieval people would probably have used it as well, hence why the hammered coins were there. So yeah, that was a hell of a memory that came up. It was a good little session, that was. Jettons last year, the Jettons were last year. I'm on a Jetton drought. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I'm getting mistaken. So there you go, folks. I'm going to keep it on for another half an hour till 7:30, because I've got some bits and pieces to do before I start work tomorrow. But if there's anybody that wants to, that wind, wow, that wind's really getting up. Anybody wants to detect anything, talk about anything detecting related, let me know. Kyle Jackson, how are you, sir? Hi, Graham. Love the videos, mate. Keep up the good work. We are doing a lot of, our YouTube channel's doing pretty good. It's not bad. I mean, it's not brilliant, because YouTube's difficult, isn't it, to get a foothold on it. But we have this milestone of 100,000 subscribers. We're 13.1% of the way there. So whether we're ever going to get there is it's up for debate. But we're going to try our best to see if we can get to 100,000 subscribers. Just for a personal milestone. There's no other reasoning behind it. It'd just be nice to do it. And we do put a lot of time and effort into YouTube. But when I hear things like what Kyle's saying there, it makes it all worthwhile us doing it, because sometimes you do it and you think, is it worth doing? I mean, is it? Some of my best films that have reached decent viewing figures have been the ones where I've scrambled together as much footage as I can, stitched it all together and stuck it out there and thought, that ain't going to do any good. And guess what? It's really smashed it. However, if you look at the latest video on the Suffolk Sandlands, that's barely got 3,000 views, and might be blowing my own trumpet and being a little bit biased here, but that film is a really good film. The content on it is unbelievable, and I didn't even capture Teresa's finds that she made, mainly because she was off out in the fields. I couldn't capture. Let's have a look at what Ryan's saying. Graham, do you have any wellies back in stock? We've got some wellies. We've got some wellies, the Capan wellies, on order, Jack. So depending on the size that you want, with the inbuilt thermal sock, which are really good, let me know. We can add them to the list. Does anyone know where you can find the full series of Horde Hunters? It was on a while back. I don't know, mate. I did watch it, but I don't know where it is. Horde Hunters. It might be on, I don't know, Catch Up TV. I'll tell you where it is. It's on YouTube. There you go. John Branner's just said, John Branner, where is John Branner? I found the smallest piece of silver with full hallmarks, a real head scratcher. It's like a little coin with hallmarks on, wasn't it? Do you think it's been cut off something and purposely done? Stream there folks. Did anybody see me going a bit quiet then? No. No, we're back on. We're back on. So I don't know, John, what that was. 8 size 8 to 11. Yeah, 8 and 11. Yes, I'll make sure I put them down. There's quite a lot of people after those wellies because they're that good. The best wellies on the market for sure. Where we are. Most of my land's being green wasted. You know, I mean, I'd give up the fight on green waste. I was just on my own with it. Nobody else would stick their head above the parapet. You know, I was doing films on green waste. I was filming farm land with green waste on it. I was talking to the Environment Agency, the Green Party, Friends of the Earth, you know, even the local MP. None of them were interested. The Environment Agency are a complete and utter waste of time. Absolutely a waste of space. So, unfortunately, guys, the green waste fight for me is just about gone because I had the BBC reporters on to me, see if they could do some work around it, but they wanted me to do the work and find the farms and the places that I ain't going out my way to find who's dumping it on the fields. It's not my job. You know, imagine me getting death threats in the middle of the night off some rogue trader dumping green waste on farmers' fields at night, like they have been doing, and then somebody else coming along and getting the kudos for it, putting it on TV. I can feel something in my hair. Unless it's me, it feels like it's static. Don't know. Like it's almost like my hair is going. Don't know. God knows what it is. Do we know if there's a new finds identified book going out? I haven't a clue, mate. I've no idea, Andrew. Next edition of the magazine will not be anytime soon. We are going to change the way we do the magazine completely because it's costing me too much money as a free magazine because I can't get the advertisers to pay quick enough. So I ain't losing money over it, unfortunately. So we may go down the subscription route for the magazine next, Detectorist magazine. Put it on prescription. How many people would buy it? How many people would pay by subscription to read the Detectorist magazine? There is the question. That is the $100 million question. And it cost me a small fortune to put it together. So unfortunately, Percy, there's not going to be one until we get concrete sort of or the green light, as they say, to do it differently than what we have been doing it. It's a green light ghosts. Yeah, going back to your green waste. I mean, you can always guarantee that green waste will be on the fields that you most suspect there'll be good finds on. So we have a castle site and there's a Roman site nearby. Not we have it, but we've got permission on one, and that is absolutely strewn with green waste. It just ruined it. Completely ruined it. And going back to the subscription of the magazine, lots of people are saying I'd subscribe to it, which is heartwarming. But then again, you've got to work out how much it's going to be. You know, you've got to make out. You can't put it too expensive so people go, I ain't paying a fiver for that. But then you can't go too cheap that it won't pay for itself. And it does take a hell of a lot of time and effort to do it. But we'll get there somehow. Yeah, American Digger magazine is very good. Many people pay for the American Digger magazine. They do on subscription, which is a really good idea to make sure it generates the money to pay for putting it together. But it's difficult to get the right price to do it at. That's going to be the key. Yeah, lots of green waste about. Dale, you didn't put your link on for your detecting channel. Just put the title of what it's called. Detecting with Dale, YouTube. Put it. I don't know if you can put it across. Detecting with Dale. There. If anybody wants to subscribe and watch Detecting with Dale, you're in for a bit of a treat because Dale puts a lot of time and effort into his YouTube, and I think he should be getting more views. That's just my personal opinion. And I've noticed there's a lot of people with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 subs that are not getting anywhere near as many views as he should be. I would pay for a magazine. Blah, 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 where are we at? Let's have a look. I heard someone talking the other day about that. A lot of really interesting sites of green waste on them. I've got my tin out on, but it makes you wonder if the powers. Yeah, quite possibly, Andrew. But then again, green waste would damage the archaeological footprint as well. So it doesn't make any sense. But it crops up. Green waste is now cropping up in the most unlikely of places. So we have some really remote farms that you wouldn't, there's no sites on them. There's no real known history, to be fair. But the green waste is cropping up, and you go on it one year. Say I go on it in September, and I find some nice things, and I'm enjoying the experience. And I go on it the following March. All of a sudden, green waste turns up. And you're like, hang on a minute. There's been no crop rotations, no harvesting of crops, no work on the fields. Yet green waste has turned up. It's very strange. It's almost like it's been dumped on purpose. You're not an admin. You're right. You're not an admin. Detecting with Dale. That is all it is. Detecting with Dale. Yes, at Dale Gowan. That's the one. If you search for him, he detects in Suffolk and you find some really good things. Dale needs to be recognised by YouTube a little bit more. I think it's a shame that he's putting all this good content out there, and his views are not anywhere near as good as they should be. Which leads me on finally to talk about YouTube itself. If there's anybody out there wanting to do their own YouTube channel, get in touch, because I can give you some advice and guidance how to not make the mistakes that I made when I first set off YouTube. Or even if you want to do a Facebook page or Facebook group, let me know and I'll give you some guidance on how we've done it. I mean, we've got 70,000 followers now across all the platforms. A lot of these people will be the same people on Instagram as they will be on Facebook. I understand that, but 70,000 is a lot of people, and it's took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get there. Believe me. I mean, people can literally be your best friend one day, detecting related, and then they can go off you completely for whatever reason the very next week. Maybe if they're not getting the attention that I can't give them. Very strange. I'm taking a cut half. This is who is this we've got come up now, which is good. Tom. I'm taking a cut half of Edgar 973975 to the floor. He says he wants to keep it for a bit. My first floor tips. What I would do if you're a bit cagey about him keeping it, which I can understand, get him to take pictures of it and weigh it. Take as many pictures as he can, examine it in the hand, and then take it back. Or why is he wanting to take it? Because off the pit, if he takes really good quality images of that coin, then he'll get the mint and money possibly off it and all the information that he requires, rather than keeping it. So I would be tempted to, because of the problems we've had with the fines liaison officers up here in the north, I would always be on the air of caution now and asking them why they want to keep things. So, for example, leading on from that, 2020, we found a very small hoard of coins on one of the Team on Earth digs, and it was only literally 4 coins. They were short cross. I sent all the relevant information to the fines liaison officer. I think we even weighed some of the coins for them, weighed and measured some of the coins. We've got as much information as I can, grid reference numbers, details of the landowner, details of the 4 finders, because it was 4 coins and 4 different finders. Sent them all out to the fines liaison officer, heard nothing back. Now I'm getting emails off the current fines liaison officer asking me where the information is. Well, I've already sent it. It's because this rogue fines liaison officer, whose name I can't say, was up to no good, that all the information was lost, and they want me to do it all again. Well, guess what? I ain't doing it all again. It was 5 years ago. I sent all the information in, as much information as I could possibly muster, and they want me to do it all again. Well, I ain't doing it. I've done it once, so it's their fault. It's their fault that they lost all that information, not me. So you get sick and tired of doing other people's work. I did it all my life, and I ain't doing it anymore. Yeah, I would be careful with some of the. I mean, not all fines liaison officers are bad. Some of them are very, very good. But if you're cagey about handing it over, like I said, high quality pictures, images there and then will give him as much information as he's going to get. No, I think you should. You're asking the question if you should take it to him. Absolutely. Yeah, you're not going to do any harm. Just bear with me a sec, because we are freezing up a little. So I don't have to. Where we are. I don't have to take it. Let him take it. No, I don't think you do. I mean, if you're concerned about him taking it, then by all means tell him that you're concerned about him taking it. But just mention to him that he can take as many pictures as he likes, and get as much information while he's got the coin at hand. He's not going to get any more information out of it, taking it away, than that he can get off high quality images and pictures. There you go. And of course, they do sign receipts, but I mean, it's entirely up to you. But if you are a little bit cagey about it, then you don't have to do it. Like I said, I after the debacle of the Northern Fines Liaison Officer problems that we've had up here, I'm very reluctant now to give them anything over. I just think I'm sick and tired of the mess that they made. And the guys that are in place now, there was one lady that came on board and she was really good, and now she's gone. You just can't win. We have Double G from the US. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're well. Watching some of your videos on YouTube are very good, and well done on your Roman brooch that you found last week, and hammered coins as well, and Roman coins. I handed in the Bronze Age gold a few weeks ago. Hopefully I see it again. Yes, you might do. You might well do. It depends on how, because that's a find of high significance, even though it's only a fragment of the larger object, that they'll be wanting to do some serious, what's the word I'm looking for? Analysis, I guess, on that, because it's, I think there's only been 5 of those objects found in the whole of Europe, which is a huge gold shoulder piece, if you will. It's like a huge decoration with the end terminals, and Eldon found the end terminal on one of my digs, which had a twist to it, which we were able to identify as a lanula object. It's easy for me to say. We have just taken a gold posy ring to our FLO. We weighed it and took photos and measured it. Yes, absolutely. Do the right thing. Always do the right thing. Has Pauline gone? Yes, Pauline's gone, Jackie. Yeah, she's left the role as the Fines Liaison Officer. Now, Pauline did quite a good job. She was quite, what's the word I'm looking for? She was very determined in her work, and she took a lot of pride in her work as well. So she's gone. Yeah, she's left, which is a shame. It's a real shame. Good evening, Danny's Bird Shed. And a lovely picture of, and you'll pull me up if I'm wrong, a goldfinch by the look of it. Wow, that wind rattling the windows out there. Lanula, that's it, Lanula. But FLO reckons the museum will probably want to keep it. Where we are? Yeah, no, are we going to get it? Yes, we are going to get it. The museum might want to keep it because it's of high significance. So the Bronze Age period where that was lost, it shows that it shows that the Bronze Age people in that area were quite rich to have something like that. And the story behind why was that snipped, they need to determine whether it's a recent snip or it's a recent break or an old break, and they'll better do that. But the Bronze Age people, especially in Cumbria, were not as backward thinking as people think. They had they had gold at their disposal, which means they were powerful people. And whoever lost that was obviously a powerful person. Why it was lost there, I don't know. Where is the larger object now? Because it was huge. God knows. Absolutely amazing. If only these objects could talk, that'd be fine, folks. What do I think about the government's inquiry into metal detector? I had an email from the NCMD. I read it, actually, yes. When I first started reading it, I thought, where's this going? I don't know if you thought that, Andrew. But when I read it from the NCMD, I did think for the first couple of lines and sentences, I was thinking, oh, hang on a minute, where's this going? But I think the points that the NCMD put over had to be said. If the NCMD feel like they're kept at arm's length by the Portable Antiquity Scheme, well, don't tiptoe around them. Get in there and tell them that. And I think the NCMD have put a rigorous response up and highlighted the issues that they see. And I think it was a pretty good, robust response. I'm not sure how it's been perceived by the wider detecting community, but I read it on Friday, and I was quite happy with what I've read. Now, some people won't agree to it. There'll be one or two people saying, "Oh, we maybe shouldn't, or the NCMD shouldn't have said this or shouldn't have said that, or whatever." But I think the NCMD did the right thing. So there you go. The chair of the Portable Antiquities Advisory Committee being against detecting. See, this is the problem: is the people in these positions. Do they understand? Or should they be actually commenting on the situation with metal detecting? Do they understand the real value of metal detectorists? And I think, for what it's worth, and I don't care who disagrees with me, but the head of the Portable Antiquity scheme should be thinking of maybe letting somebody else take over. Shall I say that? There you go. I've said it. So I wonder what. I've got to catch up with these messages. I wonder how far back gold wasn't seen as a precious metal. No, I think it was always seen as a precious metal, gold. The reason why it was probably difficult to get hold of in the first place, but the qualities and they knew it wouldn't rust. They knew it was weighty and heavy. They knew it was difficult to make, but they knew that it had properties about it that they could do wonderful things with. So I remember watching a documentary, a guy that had a gold coin, and he could warm this gold coin up and heat it up to a certain temperature where it would spread as gold sheet, and it would go for a really large area, something that big. They could spread it as a gold sheet. It's unbelievable how far it went. Incredible. And they knew gold was special way back then. So we talking about, well, I've had what I believe is a posy ring for at least a year now. I never had any identification on it. Can I send you a few pictures? Yes, you can, mate. No problem. They were talking about a license. I don't agree with that. I don't know how the license would work. I mean, there was talk, but I think it was between metal detectorists more than anything. That the license would then go into the pot of money to pay for fines, liaison officers. What they need to really look at and get this out wide, mainstream is self-identification, if you will, and self-recording. Let people record the fines onto the database themselves rather than going through a series of procedures to get to that point. Oh, hang on a minute. Something went blank. God only knows what that was. It's the old boys network. It's taking a while for it to come on the screen because let me just make sure everything's plugged in properly as it is. It's the old boy network, greedy people who don't want to share their toys, don't trust any of them, I'm afraid. Trust is a big thing in detecting as well. A lot of people paint the detectorist as a bad person in the UK, from the academics and the people in the powers of the universities and the corridors of the colleges that are all linked to archaeology. But in reality, let's think of it, most of the big finds, in fact, 90% probably of the big finds in this country have all been made by metal detectorists. And if it wasn't for us metal detectorists doing what we do each week, trailing up and down these fields, then a lot of these finds would never come to light. The archaeologists ain't never going to find them. And this argument of damaging the, let's say, archaeological footprint and the layers of archaeology, well, you talk to any archaeological individual that is linked to digs out in the field, and they'll tell you that, the first few inches up to a foot and beyond is probably not of any interest to them. They want to get down into the deeper layers, if you will. We're saving coins and artifacts from destruction that are rolling around in the plough soil. People like Barford and other archaeologists that are anti-detecting don't want to hear this. They don't like it. They'll put up an argument right against you and try putting you down and silencing you against it. But the facts are that we save a lot of coins and artifacts from destruction. The modern farming techniques are brutal in some cases, and they'll break up a Roman brooch into fragments in no time. If you're wandering across with your metal detector and you find it out of that plough soil, for example, and you save it from any more potential destruction, then I can't see that being a bad thing. I cannot see it being a bad thing. But, you know, the argument is that the elite, there's an element of elitism as well. Remember, these people have gone through the college situation, the university, they've got the degree, so that they're obviously, in their eyes, a lot more astute and a lot more intelligent than what we are. But when it actually comes to it, you know, there's a lot of clever and astute metal detectorists out there, isn't there? You know, as we know, there's a lot of clever people out there in the world of detecting. But I've seen Time Team where, I mean, good old Time Team, you know, rolling out diggers with a big bucket on the front and scraping the first few foot off the top of a site. Who knows what damage they were doing with these huge buckets on these big diggers, JCBs and things. But that argument seems lost when you fire it back at them. You know, I've met one or two archaeologists very, very close to me here that are anti-detecting, right? So they're anti-metal detecting, but they own metal detectors themselves. Now work that out. Very strange. I'm not saying that they don't use them on their own digs from time to time, but I think they actually detect as well, or some of them certainly do anyway. Yeah, cheers from Southern Europe. Heavy metal detecting passion. Listen to this. He's got passion and he's got metal detecting and he's got heavy in the same sentence. Can't be a bad thing. I can't repeat what you've just put on that post, Drone Man, because YouTube and StreamYard don't like swearing, unfortunately, sir. But I understand where you're coming from. So it is frustrating when you hear a lot of these anti-detecting guys having a go. I mean, Barford had a go at me every month, but Barford, interestingly, hasn't been on his blog site for a long time. I don't know why he's gone off the radar. It could be that he's busy trolling somebody else or trolling elsewhere. But Barford attacked me for, it was 6 months out of 12. Was it last year or the year before? It usually starts when we're featuring on television. When we do any television work, Barford kicks on because he hates me being on telly and he hates me talking about metal detecting in a positive way. And if he doesn't see his little minions that feed him information, I know who one of them is. I know him quite well. Unfortunately, he's a big supporter of Barford, who lives about 5-6 miles from me. He'll feed him the information if it goes to local press, and then Barford has to go attacking me. It doesn't bother me. It used to bother me. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind him attacking me at all. In fact, bring it on. If they bring a license, would it be like in the USA and able to detect an old? I don't think so, Tom. I really don't think so. Maybe he's the one cloning you. Maybe he is. Maybe it is that of Barford. I can't blame Barford. Barford gets the blame for a lot of things. I don't think I can blame him for doing that. But he did troll me on every single social media outlet. Facebook, he trolled me. LinkedIn, he trolled me. Instagram, he trolled me. Facebook, he trolled me. YouTube, he trolled me. So there you go. Would I be getting any new T-shirts with Barford on? What are you doing? Any new T-shirts? Barford, if he's still in the car. It'd be good, that, wouldn't it? Troll and then Barford on the back. But you know, in his defence, in Barford's defence, and there's not many detectorists will say this, but I'll say it. Barford's actually a clever man. He is an intelligent individual. He's just wired up a bit wrong. I invited him out publicly once on YouTube, I think it was, where he was watching some of my videos. I said, "Listen, come along, spend a day detecting with us. Spend a day detecting with us, and at the end of the day, you'll see what it's all about. I'll put a detector in your hands, give you a spade, give you a trowel, give you a pinpoint probe, even put a set of wellies on you if you need, and you can come out onto a ploughed field and detect all day with me if you want, and see if you change your mind." No, he won't come. He's an idiot, an intelligent idiot. He is. Guys, we've got 6 minutes left, so you want to cram anything in now, you can. We've got mainly the people watching on, not many on Facebook, quite a lot on YouTube, 50 odd people, which is not bad. I've had it worse. If you can give it the thumbs up on YouTube, it just makes sure that people see it after the live stream finishes. If you give it a like, that would be fantastic. We went to a talk. This is Are You Digging? Are You Digging It? We went to a talk about Dogger Bank. Oh, yes, wind farm. And I was told by the archaeologists that we metal detectors detect above where they dig. And we normally, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, one of the guys in Suffolk was on an archaeological dig. The archaeologist brought him in as a detectorist to detect the spoil heaps. And when they were digging off the first 2 or 3 foot, They said, "Oh, that spoil over there is not of no interest to us. We want what's down there." And he said, detectorists don't do any harm whatsoever. They don't do any harm. It's just this perception of detectorists going out onto farmers' fields. Some archaeologists think that we're digging up, ruins and buildings and bodies and everything else. We ain't doing that. We're just detecting on normal farmland, saving things from destruction and bringing them back for people to see once again. What would you rather see? Would you rather see it in a museum? Would you rather see it in someone's hand or the landowner's pocket, or the landowner cherishing it where it's been found or whatever it might be? Or would you rather it rot in the ground? It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Ron Stevens, good to see you, mate, and bye as well at the same time. Top man is Ron. He's been modelling the new vests. That man. What a man. Let me just see if I can get John O'Reilly's up. Not sure about the license idea. Of course, back in the 70s, you needed a radio license to operate a metal detector in the UK. Yes, I agree, John. I don't think it'll work either. I'm with you on that. I just think it'll have too many. You can imagine, can't you, people turning up on public parks where the local council didn't want metal detectorists on in the first place, and the detectorist going, "Well, I've got a license. I can go where I want." It's going to cause problems. It's going to cause problems, I think, a license, unless it's proper. I don't know what the word is. Managed, I guess. How are they going to manage it? The rural police are not going to walk up to a detectorist in the middle of nowhere, miles from anywhere. Can you show me your license, please? What if he's left it at home? It's just mad, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. I was watching an old episode of Digging for Britain. They were using detectors to see if this particular area was certain back there. Like, yes, you're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All new builds should have been done by detectors, not by the big boys and their diggers. It is. There's a massive argument now. But by the way, guys, right? Here's one thing I'm going to say. Has anyone detected around wind turbines? Never, ever, mate. Because most of our wind turbines are out in the Irish Sea. But no, I haven't, mate. Oh, actually, I have one. There was one in the distance on a farm once, and it was giving us some electromagnetic interference. Well, we thought it was that. So here's one thing as well, though, just to remember. We're talking up detecting, aren't we, folks? We're talking how good detectorists are. There's a lot of scroats in the world of detecting, unfortunately. We can't get it, just like there is in all walks of life. So you can't really, what's the word? We can't have it always, can we? There's a lot of people, not a lot, sorry, a few people in the world of detecting that don't care about anything. They'll just damn it. For me, they're not detectorists. They're just thieves with detectors. But you try talking sense into some of these people. It's unbelievable. I had a guy ring me once, and he rang me. This is no word of a lie. Can I buy a pinpoint probe off you? I went, yeah, we've got quite a few in stock, sir. Well, I want one because I'm a night hawker, and I want one that doesn't beep. I want one that vibrates only. And this was at the time when these new modern probes are coming out. A good few years ago now, these new modern probes are coming out with obviously the vibrate only, beep only, or whatever. I'm a night hawker. I want one that vibrates, and of course, you can imagine what I did. I just put the phone down, but. Yeah, there's a lot of scroats in the world of detecting now. They think they're going to make a quick buck out of it, you see. They're not detectorists. They're not like what we are. On our team on Earth Digs, and I keep saying this, and sorry to harp on about it, there's not a single person that comes up to me and says, how much is this coin worth? How much is this artifact worth? It's always, I wonder who the last person was to hold that coin. That's the best way to be. Best way to be. But there is a lot of night hawkers, a lot of dodgy people in the world of detecting, unfortunately. I always remember talking to a guy in Norfolk once that lived in a village, and he said every village not in that particular area of Norfolk had a night hawker in it. I was like, wow. Not detectorists. Oh, what was this? What Teresa was saying? Almost everything that I dug in the sand in Suffolk was less than 5 inches. I would kick the first few inches off easily, and my pinpointer would find. Absolutely. We didn't dig huge holes. Most of us could have got away with that, not even using a spade. So yeah, there you go. It's and hole filling. Yeah, hole filling's bad. I mean, hole filling is still bad now. with good detectorists. I mean, some of these rallies, and you know, there's some really nice people that go on these some of the rallies. For some reason, they cannot dig. I mean, you know what I mean? Treat it as your back garden. They wouldn't leave their back garden like that if they were digging a hole in it. Or if they invited somebody into their back garden to find something, they'd be pretty peed off if somebody left a big hole. Crazy. Right, guys, listen, it's past, folks. If anybody's got anything, Jeff's got something. Magazine, not sure yet, Jeff, when the next mag's out. We're going to revamp the magazine. I mentioned it earlier. We're going to probably try to do things a little bit differently with the magazine. It's costing us too much money to produce at the moment. And we're trying to get, we have people advertising it, but some of the people advertising it are not paying the advertisement slot. So I don't want to be chasing people for money. Good to speak to you all, folks. Just remember a bit of a recap. The harnesses are in now, finally. The detecting vest harnesses, the Fieldmaster ones. And of course, the coin cleaning stuff is now available. Great stuff. Good to see you all. Have a great Sunday night. I'll be on the next one in a few weeks, hopefully. Bye for now.